on Linda McCulloch, the Chair of the General Purposes Committee, to report to us on the progress of business and other Congress arrangements.
Good afternoon, Congress. I can report that a further composite has been agreed. Composite 14 in Health and Social Care Transformation, Integration and Cuts will be moved by unison and seconded by SCP. I can also report that the General Purpose Committee has approved a further emergency motion. Emergency Motion 2 on Birmingham refuse collectors and upholding ACAS agreements will be moved by Unite and seconded by PCS. The President will advise when it's hoped this motion will be taken. The GPC has also approved a request to hold a bucket collection in support of the victims of the Grenfell Tower fire. The President will indicate when this collection will take place. I will report further on progress of business and other GPC decisions when necessary throughout Congress. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Congress, in her report, Linda reported agreement on Composite 14, Health and Social Care, Transformation, Integration and Cuts, to be moved by unison and seconded by the SCP, and Emergency Motion 2, Birmingham refuse collectors and upholding ACAS agreements in the name of Unite, seconded by PCS. I will let Congress know when I hope to be able to take the composite and emergency motion. Linda also reported that the GPC has agreed a bucket collection in support of the victims at Grenfell Tower fire. That collection will take place at the end of this afternoon's session. Buckets will be at the door to the hall. Also, can I just mention to Congress, there are many women delegates here, and we want women to play a full and active role within their unions and within the TUC. And there's a networking event tonight for which all women delegates are welcome. It's at Hotel Duvan on 2 Ship Street, and it is from, what's the timing? 6 till 8. From 6 till 8, the Hotel Duvan in Ship Street, a networking women's event. So you'd be very welcome, all the women there. Thank you very much. Colleagues, I mentioned the response of our emergency services this morning, and we're starting this afternoon's session by paying a tribute to those emergency service workers who have been directly involved in the tragic events in London and Manchester. I'd like to ask Francis to welcome our colleagues from the Public and Emergency Services.
Congress, I am incredibly proud to welcome emergency service workers to our Congress. These are workers who, in the course of their jobs, have had to deal with the most unimaginable situations. The terrible bombing in Manchester, the atrocities at Westminster Bridge and London Bridge, the van attack at Finsbury Park, and the shocking fire at Grenfell Tower. Their professionalism, humanity, and bravery in the most demanding of circumstances is profoundly humbling. Thanks to them, people are alive today who otherwise would not be. And they put their lives on the line to save the lives of others. But it's not just our paramedics, firefighters and police workers who deserve our admiration. It is the entire public service team. The nurses, doctors and NHS support workers who care. The teachers who educate and inspire. The council staff, criminal justice workers and civil servants who make our communities better, safer places to live. Congress this summer has underlined what we've always known, that day in, day out, public servants make a difference. Their labour enriches all of our lives. And that's why it's such a huge honour to welcome 6 emergency service workers today. Rob, Natalie, William, Catherine, Dave and Joe, who have joined me on the stage. Rob is an incident response officer and a Unison member. He was working for the London Ambulance Service during both the Westminster and the London Bridge attacks. Natalie is an operations manager and GMB member who was in charge of the London Fire Brigade control room on the evening of the London Bridge attack. She was also in a support role during the Westminster Bridge attack. William is a chaplain at Guy's and St Thomas's Hospital and at the London Fire Brigade and a Unite member. He supported families and staff members after the London Bridge attack and the Grenfell Tower fire. Catherine is a clinical psychologist and a Unite member who provided support to patients admitted after the Manchester bombing. Dave is a firefighter and an FBU member. He was working on the night of the Grenfell Tower fire. Jo is a nurse and a Unison member who went into work on the night of the Manchester bombing and treated victims of that atrocity. Delegates, I now want to invite Jo, Catherine and Dave to address Congress. Please give them a warm welcome.
Thank you. Hello. My name's Jo, and I've worked at Stepping Hill Hospital in Stockport for 32 years, and I've been a senior sister in anaesthetics and recovery for just over a year. I first joined NUP as a student nurse and then became a member of Unison. I heard what happened at the Manchester Arena on the radio. It was around midnight. I rang into work and spoke with the sister on night duty in theatre, and I went into work around 1:30, where I coordinated our theatre response and we looked after 4 casualties and their relatives. My lasting memory of that evening is the wonderful lady that I looked after in theatre that night. She had really serious injuries, but she was smiling and thanking people for looking after her. The kindness and goodness in people shone through for me that night, despite what they'd been through and what had happened. Staff who heard about the incident didn't hesitate to call in, to ring in, to come into work on that night and the next day in their nights and days off. Their dedication to their profession and their patients was appreciated, but then they show that every day. I love my job. I love working with and helping people and learning from them. And, most importantly, being a part of the NHS, which is surely one of the greatest organisations in the world.
Hello, conference. My name's Catherine, and I'm a clinical psychologist. I work in health psychology in an acute hospital setting. I've been qualified for 5 years and I've been a Unite member for 9 years. The morning after the attack, I provided one-to-one support to patients and their families. They were all in significant distress as a result of the attack. When I got into work that morning, I remember the first referral coming in and feeling an overwhelming sense of wanting to help because of their distress. I'm a Mancunian and I live 15 minutes walk away from the arena. I felt a great sense of loyalty and responsibility towards supporting patients, families and the staff working on critical care. I love my job because it puts me in a privileged position. Patients share their traumatic life stories and the most difficult and intimate thoughts and feelings. By providing a safe, containing environment, they are able to process the trauma that they have been left with and gain a sense of hope for change, enabling them to take steps to improve the quality of their life. Thank you.
Congress, my name is Dave Waterman. I'm a station officer in the London Fire Brigade in charge of the Blue Watch at Battersea Fire Station. Aside from our regular call-outs we also cover water rescue, line rescue and urban search and rescue. I'm also chair of the South West London Fire Brigades Union and have been a committed union member throughout my 26-year-long career. I love what we do, the camaraderie and bringing some order back to the lives of those we help. I attended the Grenfell Tower fire, but I can't talk about it in depth as we have to be interviewed by the Metropolitan Police before we're allowed to do so. But please don't associate me with the visual imagery of Grenfell Tower. Like you, I watched it on TV in disbelief that my comrades were entering that vision of hell. They were being committed to that fire time and time again. I was sent there after the fire was extinguished to recover the victims. I've never before seen looks on the faces of firefighters that I saw that day. They were battle-worn, wide-eyed and with a 1,000-yard stare. None have spoken of it, but as I climbed the stairs of Grenfell Tower the following day, I got a flavour of what they had experienced. The complete incineration of anything flammable and the terrible human cost. It is miraculous that all of my comrades survived that day. Please don't associate me with the bravery that was exhibited on the day of Grenfell Tower. That recognition belongs to the firefighters who were first to arrive on the scene. That's the Red Watch of the London Fire Brigade. I'm proud and humbled to call them comrades. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe, Catherine and Dave, and thanks too to Rob, Natalie and William. I think all of us will feel moved and humbled by the stories that we've heard told, but also inspired. And it's a reminder that emergency service workers really are the best of us. It's only right now, I think, that we join together to show our appreciation for their outstanding work from each and every one of us, from every trade unionist in Britain. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis, and thank you to the public sector emergency workers who've come to be with us today. And it's just told, it gives us a glimpse of what they do every day to protect our society and our citizens. And I know from Congress's reaction that you absolutely recognise that. Delegates, we turn to Section 1 of the General Council report, the economy, the section on regulation and safety. I call paragraph 3.6.